Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Madam Mashita and all my fellow friends. Alright, so today I want to present to you about the assignment for EE231. Before we move to further explanations, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nur Syahmina binti Suhaimi and I am from class J4 EE1113B1. Alright, so the question that I choose for this effective assignment is question number 3. In question number 3, it asks us to find the value of V naught T here by using superposition theorem. Alright, so in this question, it gives us the value of Vs and Is, which is for Vs equals to 80 cos 70 minus 45 degree volt, which is in time domain, and Is also in time domain, which is 50 sine 2t ampere. Right, so before we move to answer these questions, I want to explain to you a little bit about the superposition theorem. Right, so superposition theorem is a method for circuit that has different frequency. We use superposition theorem when we have a different source with different frequency. Alright, to answer these questions, by using superposition theorem, we must follow this step. So the first step to answer superposition theorem is to identify each source in the circuit. And the second step is to consider only one source at a time to find the required current or voltage. And the third step is if we consider only one source and the other source will be turned off. So if the current source will be turned off, so it will be open circuited, and if the voltage source is to be turned off, so it will be short circuited. Alright, so the fourth step, which is the final step, is to sum all the current or voltage in step 2. Right, after we finish all to find the voltage of each source, then we get the answer for final by adding all the value from all the source. Alright, so by using superposition theorem, one source will be turned on and another will be turned off. So for the source that will be turned off, if the voltage source will be turned off, it will be short circuited, and which is like this, short circuited. And then if the current source will be turned off, then it will be open circuited. Alright, so if there is no frequency of the source, uh, for example, like 2A or 2V, which means the omega is 0, so it will make the frequency to be 0 too. And then in AC circuit consists of capacitor and inductor. But if there's no omega, then the capacitor and inductor will be turned off. So if the capacitor will be turned off, it will be open circuited. Then if the inductor will be turned off, then it will be short circuited. Alright, so let's go to answer the questions number 3. Alright, in these questions, it gives us the value in time domain. So we must change it to phasor domain. Alright, so I change the voltage source and current source to phasor domain, which is it will be voltage source will be 80, the angle negative 45 degree volt. This is I just take the value of angle here because it is stated here cos, so I just take directly negative 45 degree. But in current source, it gives the value of 50 sine 2t, which means it is sine. So if it is sine, so we must change it to cos by minus 90 degree. But in this question, it doesn't stated any degree. So we assume it is 0 degree. So 0 minus 90 will be negative 90 degree. So the final current is 50 angle negative 90 degree ampere. Right, so the first source that I consider to be turned on is 4 ampere. So the other source, which is the voltage source, will be turned off. So it will be short circuited, and the other source, which is current source, will be open circuited. Right, so the diagram will be like this: open circuited, and the voltage source will be short circuited. But in this, I consider the current source have no frequency. So the capacitor and the inductor will be open circuited and short circuited. The capacitor will be open circuited, and the inductor will be short circuit. And then after that, I we can see this is open circuit. Then this resistor will be ignored because there's no current flow here. And then we can see the resistor is in series. So I consider the current is just the same because the resistor is in series. The resistor in series, the current flow is same for each resistor. So to get the value V naught, I can easily uh, get the value of V naught by using Ohm's law, which is V equals to IR. So I get the value 4 ampere here times 10 ohm. So I get the value of V naught T1, which is 40 volt. The second source that I've considered to be on is the voltage source, which is 80 angle minus 45 degree volt. And the other two source will be on off. So the both of the source is current source. So it will be open circuit. So the diagram will be like this: open circuit and open circuit. So before we get the value of V naught here, I must change the value of capacitor and inductor in ohm. So to change it in ohm, we must use the formula of XL equals to J omega L and XC equals to 1 over J omega C. This is supposed to be C. Alright, and then convert the circuit to phasor domain by using this. Alright, how I know the omega is 7? I got it from this original value of Vs is it stated 70, which is 7 is the omega. So I just directly insert the value of 7 for the omega, and then I got the value of inductor, which is J 5.6 ohm, and then for the capacitor is negative J 2.857 ohm. Okay, so I simplify this circuit to be like this. This circuit is actually a series circuit. So to find the value of V naught here, I just use the VDR concept, VDR rule. So current voltage divider rule. So because the voltage is in series with the resistor, so I just sum of all of these component to be become like 50, become the answer is 50 plus J 2.743, and I just use VDR equals to 10 over, which is 10 the resistor that we want to calculate the voltage, 10 over 10 plus the opposite resistor, which is the opposite component, 50 plus 12 15 plus J 2.743 times voltage source, which is the voltage source. It is given is 80 angle negative 45 degree, but I insert negative because the voltage source is opposite direction with the resistor. So we get the value of negative 19.905 plus J 24.1811 volt. but we must change it into phase domain. We must change into phase domain which is 31.809 angle 128.74 degree. Then we change it to time domain. It will become 31.809 cos 70 plus 128.74 angle 74 degree. Sorry. So this is the value of V naught T2. Okay, so for the third source that I consider to be on is the current source, which is 50 angle negative 90 degree will be on. So the other two source, which is the voltage source, will be short circuit, and the current source will be open circuit. So the diagram will be like this: open circuit and short circuit. So same like the before, we must change the inductor and the capacitor into ohm, which is change it into phase domain by using the formula of Xc equals to 1 over j omega c and XL equals to j omega L. So how I got the value of omega here? I just look at the original value of IST, which is 50 sin 30 ampere, and the 2 is actually the omega, so I just directly insert the value of 2 as the omega. So I get the value of XC, capacitor and inductor in ohm. This is actually ohm. I forgot to insert it. So for the capacitor will be negative J10 ohm, and the inductor will be J1.6 ohm. So I simplify the circuit and become like this. So as we can see here, I use mesh analysis to find the current of each loop. Because I want to find the V naught here, I want to use Ohm's law, and to get the current, I find it by using mesh analysis. So first I find the equation at I1. So I use KVL at loop I1. So I started in 10 I1 plus 10 plus J1.6 I1 minus I2 plus 5 plus minus J10 I1 equals to 0, and then I simplify I1 and I2. So I got these equations for KVL at loop I1. Then I go to find the value of I2 at loop I2. Okay, so by looking at this diagram, we can see this is a current source. So automatically, the value of I2 is the value of current source here. So uh, I2 is equals to negative 50 angle negative 90 degree. Why I insert negative here? Because the current source is opposite direction with the loop. The loop is clockwise, but the current source is opposite direction. So I must insert negative to make it symmetry. Then this is the equation for this is I2, which is the value of I2, and then I substitute into equation 1 from KVL at a loop I1. So I substitute the value of I2, then I got the value of I1, which is 19.2 angle 117.66 degree ampere. So if I had the value of I1 here, then I can get the value of V naught here. So I use Ohm's law, V equals to IR. So I just insert the value of I1 here and the resistor, which is 10 ohm. So I get the value is of voltage of 10 ohm is 192 angle 117.66 degree volt. So I change it into time domain, which is 192 cos 2t plus 117.66 degree volt. Alright, so the final answer is I must sum all the V naught 1, V naught 2, V naught 3 to get the V naught total here. So the final answer is 40, which is the V naught 1, V naught 1 plus 31.809 cos 70 plus 128.74 degree. This is the V naught 2 plus 7 plus V naught 3 192 cos 2t plus 117.66 degree volt. This is the final value that I get. Alright, that's all from me. So thank you for listening, and I am really sorry if I make mistake while presenting, and thank you for listening.